I'm a bit frustrated. I'm annoyed that nobody told me what I'm about to tell you earlier in my life. And right now, everything starts to make sense. I finally understand as to why some people through history have been so unbelievably productive while other people don't seem to make much progress at all. And it all comes down to understanding these 4 time management principles I'm about to share with you today. Understanding these principles will help you beat procrastination, get more work done in less time, be more focused, and therefore provide higher quality work too. So let's dive in. Let's start with the first principle. This one messes up almost everyone, including myself, and it's called the planning fallacy. The planning fallacy basically means this: your brain underestimates how long tasks will take, even when you've done similar tasks before. So you might think this will take me 1 hour, while in reality, it takes 3 or 4 hours. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, I hope I pronounced that correctly, studied this for decades, and they found that even experts fall into this trap. So not only beginners, also experts, because your brain focuses on the best case scenario and not really the realistic one. It doesn't consider interruptions. It thinks you will have perfect focus and that you're never making mistakes. But unfortunately, real life doesn't work like that. Emails will eventually show up, your phone vibrates, you need to look something up, you lose focus, you need breaks. And when you then don't finish the task in the time that you planned, something super annoying and dangerous happens. Because you start to think, oh, my plan was wrong. And now you have proof and you start to think, I'm bad at this, I'm slow, I procrastinate too much, I'm not productive. And eventually that guilt or that feeling that is associated with these kind of thoughts is going to make you procrastinate even more or fuel the procrastination. Because we feel bad about ourselves and now we have some kind of proof that we can't complete a task on time, which makes us more skeptical when doing another task. Now, here's how to use and deal with this principle. It's super simple, but quite powerful. For new or unfamiliar tasks, I want you to multiply your time estimate by around 1.5 or even 2. So if you think, example, this will take me 1 hour, then you plan 90 minutes or 2 hours. Not because you're lazy or bad, but because you want to be more realistic. So over time, this trains your brain to plan better, because your schedules will stop collapsing or you will actually follow through and you get more work done. So suddenly you start to trust yourself again, and that trust alone is going to reduce procrastination and make you want to continue to take action again. Now, the second principle explains why deadlines feel magical or why you're getting a lot of things done when there is a deadline. It is called Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law is saying work expands to fill the time that you give it. So if you give yourself, for example, 5 days to study a chapter, it will take 5 days. If you give yourself 2 focused hours, it can suddenly fit into 2 hours. It's the same task with a different time block and probably gets you better results. Now, studies on productivity show that constraint in terms of time increases your focus. Okay, so your brain filters distractions better when time is limited because it knows I need to get work done. So that is why you study better the night before an exam, like there's more urgency. You write faster when a deadline is coming close, even though it's not ideal because you don't want to procrastinate till the last moment, but you focus more when time feels scarce. This principle explains why. The problem is not necessarily a lack of your motivation. It's often that you have too much time and that you allocate too much time, because an open time block, or actually no time block at all, creates opportunity for your brain to overthink, to complicate the task even more than it is. Maybe you have tendencies to be a perfectionist. So perfectionism, you don't start because you only want to start when the timing is right or everything is perfect. Or it creates procrastination, where it might look like, you're doing a bunch of preparation, but that is still procrastination. So here's how to tackle and solve for this principle. Instead of asking, how long do I have? I want you to ask, how little time can I realistically give this? And then you want to lock it in. And I know this sounds contradicting compared to the planning fallacy, principle 1, but it does work to improve your effort and your productivity. So after listening to this, I want you to experiment with both to figure out what is the ideal outcome. Don't be afraid to shrink and create a dedicated time block, but also take into account that indeed, if you are unfamiliar or uncertain about a task, do give yourself enough buffer time to work on this. So I'll give you an example about applying Parkinson's law with time blocks. Instead of saying, I will study economics this afternoon, you want to say, I'll study economics from 3 to 4:30 p.m. That's it. Like short, clear, non-negotiable time block. And you're not going to wait for motivation to come in or urgency. The time block that you created is going to give you that urgency. So if you want to put this method on steroids, then I want you to share your plan with an accountability partner. And I want you to pay them $100 every time that you don't follow through. So if you need that additional urgency or motivation, let that then be the case. I've been applying that principle in my coaching program, and I've never made a single dollar from it because people started to take their time blocks even more serious than before. So I think that's a good sign. Now, the third one is pretty sneaky, and it's called decision fatigue. Your brain has limited mental energy for decisions throughout the day, and every choice that you make is costing something, energy in terms of a currency. So it costs you something. What to do, what to study, when to study, where to start, what method to use. By the time that you actually sit down to do the work, your brain is already extremely tired from making all of these tiny choices and decisions. Research shows that as decision fatigue increases, your self-control and willpower drops, your focus is lower, and you start to choose for easy solutions and short-term rewards, which could be, preparing again or grabbing your phone. It can be procrastination in disguise as any other way. So this is why procrastination increases later in the day. It is not because you're lazy, but because your brain is already cooked from making a ton of decisions and thinking. So again, here's how to solve for this principle. The highest performers that I know, they don't rely on willpower. They remove decisions as much as possible. It's the same study and work time every single day at the same location, even starting with the same kind of task. This is going to help you build routines, which is insanely helpful because think about it, routines reduce the amount of choices that you need to make. You're just making them because they're in your routine. So you should never, ever sit down and ask yourself, what should I do now? You should already know and have that prepared. Principle 4 is going to hurt some egos, already sharing it up front. Multitasking does not exist. Your brain cannot focus on two things at once. What it does instead is something that we call task switching. And task switching is expensive in terms of your brain fuel and energy, like the currency again. Studies show that switching tasks can reduce your productivity by up to 40%. Now, every switch forces your brain to do the following. It should drop the context of one task at hand and focus on a new one. You have to reload the information from this task at hand. You have to refocus your attention. And eventually, I can't emphasize this enough, attention is your most valuable currency for learning. So with multitasking, you're wasting that currency. You're wasting that attention. And that is eventually going to cost you time and energy. Even having your phone like face down on your desk reduces focus. Your brain is still anticipating and waiting for it to get notifications or to vibrate such that, like you can text back that person or you can laugh at that funny reel that your friend shares. So multitasking can feel productive, but it produces very shallow work and make more mistakes. So if you want to increase your quality of work, then make sure to stop doing it. Here's also how to fix it. I want you to use fixed study blocks and ideally prepare them the week before on a Saturday or a Sunday. So same applying to Parkinson's law and decision fatigue, create time blocks. Then I want you to have a pre-planned task list. So in the morning, write down your 3 most important tasks and work on task number 1 until done. All right. And I want you to think about clear next steps, what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And this makes you think less and allows you again to do more. Creating this structure helps you feel more in control and rely less again on motivation or stress and urgency. You prepare that. Now, so some additional thoughts here. Focus on 1 task, 1 screen, and 1 clear goal as defined in principle number 3. Put your phone in another room and close all of the extra tabs on your laptop and work in short, deep, focused blocks. If you now combine these 4 principles, you will A, get more work done, and B, you will perform better. So take into account that a task will take longer than expected, but don't be afraid to give yourself a deadline. The buffer time takes into account the planning fallacy, and your deadline makes your effort go up, respecting Parkinson's law. The more specific and detailed you are in your time block tasks, the less decision fatigue you will experience, and the harder it is to multitask. If this video finally made things click for you, good, because they did too late for me. And if you're also a student or a working professional who's taking any exam soon, you do want to check out this video on how to prepare for any exam. Just like in this video, I explain step by step how to tackle any exam with scientific proven learning methods. Go check it out here.